Hi friends, welcome back to another chapter, and today we are basically going to talk about how to choose the right location for your Airbnb business. Now, when we talk about location, this is one of the most important decisions in your Airbnb journey, because you can have all the best furniture, you can have all the best photos, but if your location is wrong, you will struggle to get bookings. So think of location as the foundation of your entire business. So location affects everything. Location will affect how many people see your listing, how often you get bookings, and how much you can charge for your listing. For example, a simple apartment in a busy area can make more money than a luxury apartment in a quiet area. So don't chase nice houses, chase high demand areas. So your location will determine your occupancy rate, your nightly pricing, your guest experience, and also their reviews, and also long-term profitability. Now, these are the types of profitable locations. We have tourist hotspots where people are visiting for place, business districts, basically where people are visiting for work, and university areas where there are students, parents, and visitors at the university. Hospitals, we have patients and families, and also traveling doctors and nurses. And then there are transit hubs like airports, bus parks, etc. So now for this particular Kampala, I'm going to give you a Kampala case study. We have seen places like Kololo, Nakasero. These are like business areas, and they are nice for high-end travelers. Then when you look at Kisementi, Naguru, that is basically social life, and also it has some business travelers and also lifestyle guests. And then places around, let's say Mulago Hospital, you have doctors, and also it attracts different types of guests. So let's talk about the tourist areas. These are powerful because people are always looking for places to stay. So you ask yourself, are people visiting this area regularly, or is it seasonal or all year round? For example, places around Queen Elizabeth National Park, the summer areas, they are normally fully booked. And for this particular type of places, guests are willing to pay premium prices. And a prime example is beaches, landmarks, and city centers. So if you set up near major attraction areas or popular hangout spots, people will pay more for the convenience. But be careful, because some places are busy only during holidays. So if you want consistency, you can put that in mind. Then let's look at the business and corporate areas. These are very good for stable income because people travel often, they stay even during the weekdays, and they usually have budgets. So area near offices, banks, or conference venues tend to have regular bookings. We are going to look at example of Speak Resort Munyonyo. You can see most conferences happen around that place, and the neighborhood, if you have a house in that neighborhood, you're likely gonna be booked for those travelers who are coming for corporate purposes. Then we also gonna look at the local demand indicators. So here is a simple way to know if an area is really good. Are there restaurants nearby? Are there things to do, that is attractions and activities? Does it have a good security? Is the area accessible? If people enjoy going there, they will want to stay there. So I'm going to give you an example of Kisementi and Acacia Mall, for example, in Kampala. This area has good restaurants, it has nightlife, and it is very easily accessible. That means guest feels comfortable booking there. So I'm going to briefly take you through how you can research demand. And first thing, you're going to open your Airbnb app and you're going to search your target area. I'm going to assume, like, sometimes you always have an area in mind that you would want to start with, but before you do, go on Airbnb and search that area. Check how many listings are there. Look at a couple of listings and go and check how many of them are usually booked. Now there you can look at the occupancy and the calendar availability. If the calendars are mostly filled, that means there is a high demand for that particular area. If most of the dates are empty, it means there's low demand. And also go and read reviews. More reviews equals to more bookings and also gives you like a good sign. Let's look at what I've been exactly talking about. So I'm gonna open my Airbnb in incognito mode. Now let's say I want to start an Airbnb business in Nigeria. I'm gonna go here and just search Nigeria, Kampala, and then I'm just gonna put today's date and let's see, and then I'm just gonna search. So you can see Nigeria has over 1,000 homes. So I'm gonna go for each of these homes. As you can see the pricing, this one is 84,000, this one is 100,000, this is 147, this is 84,000. Now I'm gonna go and check this. Let's say for example, since it's on the first page, I'm gonna just click on it. You can see it's such a beautiful home and it's a guest favorite, hosted by Maria. Hi Maria, in case you come across this video. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna check availability. I'm just gonna click on the calendar here. I'm just gonna click on the calendar. As you can see, this has availability. You can see May, there is availability. I'm gonna look at June, there is availability. July, there is availability. You can see it's available throughout the rest of the year. So that means all these days are not booked yet. Now I'm gonna go and search for another location. I'm gonna say let's say Kololo. So let me just remove this and I'm gonna search for Kololo, Kampala, and I'm gonna click search. So now we have these houses in Kololo, and now you can see the pricing of Kololo is a bit different. So this is price for 2 nights. So we have this house with lake view in Kololo. We have this house near Acacia Mall. So let me just click on this one for example, and let's look at its availability. This is a quite beautiful space. Let me close that. Hosted by Diana, you can see. So I'm just gonna click on the calendar just the way we did. As you can see, this is currently we are on today is 22nd. Yes, today is 22nd of April. You can see this one is booked all the way up to 27th, and then it's also booked from 13th up to 16th. And then let's check in May. Yes, let's check for June, July. You can see it's booked for entire August. This sends you something that this location is doing well. And then it's also booked from December 2026, I think, up to Jan. It's also booked in January. You can see it's also booked in Feb, the entire month. You can see that. March, April. All right. So now this is how you can see how busy, and you can see Airbnb actually tells you this place when you're searching. Let's say let me choose a date. It tells you this is a rare find. That means this place is usually booked. So this is something to do with the location and the strategic place. Yes, so you can do this for as many houses as you can. You can go ahead and look at all your areas of interest. Let's say Muyenga, and I'm gonna just choose 22nd to that, and I'm gonna search just random properties, and you can see the different apartments. So let's say instant book filter. So you basically just do the same thing. For example, let's tap on this property, and you can see this place is usually booked. Once you see this, it's usually booked. Hi Hadija. So when you go and check their calendar, you can see she has availability. May you check all the upcoming months for all that. So now this sends you a sign that there are some areas that are more booked than the other. So now let's head back to our presentation. So now this is how you're going to decide whether an area is perfect for you or not. Now one thing is, too many listings, that equal to very high competition, and then also few listings in an area will give you a hint that there is a low demand. So the goal is to find areas where listings exist but they are still getting booked. That is your sweet spot. So now let's talk about the pricing power. You're going to ask yourself, are people charging high prices in this area? And if they're charging high prices, are they still getting booked? If yes, that means that area is basically a strong market. For example, we have 1-bedroom apartments that are charging $40, and there are another 1-bedroom apartments that are charging $80 per night. And if they're always booked, that means that area has a good earning potential. You should narrow down to that area. And then that takes me to safety and accessibility of the neighborhood. So guests care about safety more than anything. Safe neighborhoods, you are gonna be getting better reviews, and if the place is easily accessible, I gave you an example of a cashier mall, you're gonna get more bookings. So you need, before you even actually get a house, check for the road access and check for transport options, and also check for walkability. Like, even if the rent is cheap in a remote area, guests may avoid it because it's hard to reach. So look at how walkable is it to the main road, or to a supermarket, or to a gas station, or to like a convenience store. That is very important. So also, before choosing a location, you check for the local Airbnb laws. This may apply in areas whereby you have to get a license to run an Airbnb, and then also confirm with building rules. There are some buildings that actually don't accept Airbnbs. So before you pay for that house, talk to the management or talk to the landlord. We shall talk more about this in the next coming sessions. And if they don't allow Airbnb, just don't waste your energy, even if the place is good. So some areas ban short-term rentals, so make sure that you are conversant with that area. You're sure before getting or renting your first Airbnb property in that particular place. Now let me tell you, if before you even start, who do you want to sell to? Do you want to sell to tourists? Do you want to sell to business travelers? Do you want to sell to students, or do you want to sell to families? If you're going to sell to tourists, you're going to look at attraction areas. And you're selling to business travelers, you're going to choose an area that has a lot of offices. And if you're going to sell to students, make sure that the place is near maybe universities or places where students go to. And families, if you're going to sell to families, make sure that you're getting a peaceful place and a large enough space. So choose a location that will fit your target market. So also, let's talk about the red flags you need to avoid. Please, when you're doing your house hunting, whatever you call it, avoid areas which are remote. Even if it is in a good neighborhood, but like there's a small side of ghetto, that shows guests that the neighbor might be unsafe. So don't avoid unsafe neighborhoods, and then avoid places with poor infrastructure. That is what we call things like road networks, and then places with no activity, nothing going on. You just decide like, okay, let me set my place here, but there's nothing really going on. And then also places with strict anti-Airbnb policies. I have mentioned this. If the apartment management tells you, no, we don't allow Airbnbs, leave that area alone. Or if the landlord is against it, leave that area alone, because they will give you a headache while you're running your business. And then another example is like, if you have a cheap apartment which is very far from town, it may seem like a good deal because let's say the rent is cheaper, but if no one books it, you're gonna be losing money every single month. So cheap rent does not mean good business. So this is just my location checklist. Before committing, first make sure that there is high demand. Look for safety. Is it safe? Is it accessible? Can I compete? And also, can I profit? If the answer is no to every one important question, you're gonna rethink that location. So I'm gonna ask you to pick 2 or 3 potential areas, and then you research them on Airbnb, and then you compare pricing and demand, and then choose the best performing location. Location is everything. I will repeat, location is everything. Location is what brings you bookings. Location is what is gonna make your price higher, and also location is what is gonna make your business easier. A bad location is gonna make you struggle. So take your precious time choosing a location for your business. In the next chapter, I'm gonna talk about rental arbitrage and how you can rent a house to rent. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Make sure that you subscribe so that you don't miss the next chapter